It's me again. This is my grandfather, Bob Mann, and Bob is going to share with us his experience in the end of World War II and the beginning of the Korean.
Okay, Stace. Well, to start out with World War II, I was only 12 years old when that started. I was on the corner of Pittsburgh and Wellesley. I was roller skating on the tennis court at Rogers High School when I heard someone say the Japs have bombed Pearl Harbor. And immediately we went home and listened to the radio. Everybody was listening to the radio because there was no television. And the president came on and he said, this was the day after. He said, yesterday, December the 7th, 1941, the hand that held the dagger has sunk it into the back of its neighbor. And he says, I ask Congress to declare that there is a state of war between the United States and Japan. We shall gain the inevitable victory, so help us God. And immediately they started drafting young men. All young men 18 years old to 25 were enlisted immediately. And in the service they went. They went in the Army Air Corps, they went in the Navy, they went in the Army, they went in the Coast Guard, and they went in the U.S. Marines. And my brother was one that did. He joined the Marines. He went to South Pacific. He was shot in the chest, and 60 years later, he still carries that bullet. Well, anyway, the war ended August 17th, 1945. And I had just enlisted in the Marine Corps. I was just 17 years old. I was in boot camp when the Japanese surrendered. And later on in 1949, I went to Japan on occupation duty. And while I was on occupation duty, the North Koreans invaded South Korea. And I heard over the PA system, the following named men report on the parade field in 15 minutes in full battle gear. The first name they said was Mann, Robert D. And then there was a lot of names. But we fell out and we got on the train and we left. We left Yokosuka, Japan, and we went to Kobe, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and then took an Army transport ship. And we went over to Korea and we invaded Incheon. And the battle at Incheon was very severe. It was in the capture of Seoul. We had to hike 20 miles into Seoul to capture Seoul from the North Koreans. And after we captured Seoul, we turned it over to the Army, and the Scottish troops from Scotland, United Nations troops from Scotland came. And they were blowing their bagpipes, and they came, and we could see them 20 miles away, marching towards Seoul. When they got there, we left, and they took over. And we went and we got back aboard ship, and we were on that ship for 6 weeks, sailing back and forth, until the one day we made an invasion at Wonsan. That was on the opposite coast of the Korean Peninsula. And as soon as we hit the ground, we started hiking. And we walked for days. And we walked all the way from Wonsan through such towns as Hungnam, Hamhung, Tokori, all the way to the Chosin Reservoir. It took us the rest of that summer. But when we got there, it was nearly Thanksgiving. And right after Thanksgiving, the Chinese invaded South Korea, or North Korea. They came in. And there was 250,000 Chinese. And our commander said, he had a big megaphone and he got out there and he said, now hear this. General MacArthur in Tokyo has informed me that over 250,000 Chinese have come into this war against the 20,000 Marines here. So we're outnumbered. And he said they're all around us. And we're going out of here as Marines or not at all. So burn all your field packs. Carry nothing but ammunition. We'll go down the road 1,000 yards and we jump off into the assault. And that's what we did. And then the cold weather came and it started snowing and the temperature dropped to 42 below zero and stayed that way for days. The last meal I had was on Thanksgiving Day until December the 6th. The only thing I had was a can of fruit cocktail that I shared with another Marine. That's all we had. And then I was evacuated. My feet were frozen, my hands were frozen. They evacuated me and put me on a truck and brought me down the mountain and put me on a helicopter and took me to Wonsan. And from Wonsan to Hungnam, and they put me aboard a ship, a hospital ship. And I spent a year in the Naval Hospital drying out. So I guess that's the story. I did go back to Hawaii just a few years ago and visited the Punch Bowl where it's on Oahu in Hawaii. That's where they bury the military. And I found two of the guys that I served with. They never brought them home. They only brought them to Hawaii. The rest of them they brought home. And the last man in my squad, his name was Karakappa. He died at the Naval Hospital in Oakland, California, while I was there. And that was the last of the squad. And so here I am, 50 years later. I'm pretty lucky.
Now you were the sole survivor out of your squad, weren't you?
Just the squad, yeah. There was 7 men to the squad, and I was the last one. Terry Bazzaio, Tom Case, Lubo, Miller, Durheim.
How did you keep yourself alive?
Well, during the snowstorms and the cold weather, when we'd take a break, I'd just keep walking up and down, up and down, up and down. I kept my feet in action. I didn't lay down. Those that laid down didn't get up. I've seen them lay down and go to sleep and freeze to death. So I just stood there and marked time. And there was others that marked time too, and they would have made it too if it hadn't been for the bullets. So I guess that's about the story.
What ran through your mind during this time?
Huh?
What ran through your mind?
Oh,
What did you think about?
Oh, I thought about home a lot, and I didn't know whether I'd ever come back or not, but after they evacuated me, I knew I probably would, because especially after they put me on that hospital ship. And then from there I went to Japan, and then they came and got me at 4 o'clock in the morning and put me on a DC-4 propeller-driven airplane. It was flown by Canadians, and they said they were going to fly me to the Philippines Islands for amputation. And when we got halfway there, they came back and said, we've had a change of orders. They've discovered a new way to fight frostbite. And we're ordered to take you to the United States right now. So they took us from there to Pearl Harbor, and they put us in the hospital in Hawaii, Army Hospital. I was there overnight. Then they sent me to the Naval Hospital in Oakland.
What kind of effects does this still have on you? What kind of an impact did this leave on your life?
Oh, not much. It hasn't changed things. It's part of the past. And when you get a family, you think about other things. And it was difficult to make a living, but we did it. We made it.
All right, well, thank you for sharing your story with me.
Well, I hope I told you some stuff that it was interesting.
You sure did, yes.
It was quite a party.
There, you can tell what they are again.
Huh?
I'll hold it, you tell what they are again.
Oh, this Purple Heart. This is Korean invasion with 2 battle stars. This is United Nations. This is the Japanese occupation medal. National Defense, American Victory Medal, World War II. These are my dog tags issued to me in 1945. And this, by the way, is a can opener to open my rations. And these are training medals.